So going into DECO and how we envision rolling out this company and building out this company, we really have a few aspects to the vision. So first of all, we don't want to completely abandon our research and science roots. We really believe that a robust R&D pipeline is just critical to continuing to develop this science and eventually to develop then what all of the commercializable products will be coming out of that science now and in the future. So we want to be the world's leading organization for the science and research in the field of data economics. With that said, of course, the product and the commercialization is of critical importance to us. So we want to build the tool set to enable the widest array of data economic initiatives and solutions. So this includes both our data economic operating system and all of the other things that go around that and surround that and complement it and expand its applicability throughout sectors and around the world. And third, we don't want to do this alone. We really have the vision of building a global ecosystem of partners, customers, and collaborators to advance data economics. It takes a lot of people and a lot of organizations to really build out a real world science. This is a new field, so we really want to do this in lockstep with all of the folks we've been working with so far, and to onboard as many people as we can and as many groups as we can to that ecosystem as we move forward. So talking a bit about the nuts and bolts of how we put this to work within our organization. We have three essentially divisions or three teams within the company. We have our science and engineering team. This is where all of the R&D takes place and also where we build out the operating system, modules, and Lydion Studio, which is the developer kit. We then want to take that science and apply it, as we've talked about. So that happens in the solutions group. So this is where we're building out the solutions, the applications, all of the implementation services around that, and really where the business rubber hits the road. And then third, propagation is really important. We see this as more than just science, and we see it as more than just marketing. So we call this publishing. It's really where all of our education and communications and engagement with audiences and partners take place. And we'll talk a bit more about that because we also have a really robust technology tool in our publishing platform. So if we go on to the next one, I'm going to hand it back to Sertaj to talk a bit about some of the highlights so far and our near-term goals, and then we'll get a bit more into the company and its operations.
Well, I think first I'm going to ask Arka.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I love talking about our research and our operating system, and I have been. I'm glad to have the opportunity to do that a little bit more, because you know our research is, I think, what we are most proud of. That, you know, with a very distributed team, with a very diverse team, as Jennifer said, we were able to get a lot achieved without having necessarily a formalized research institution driving this, which obviously we hope to formalize a lot of this with a lot of partners in the near future. But having said that, we've already developed over phase one a self-contained framework for data economic science, which is based on well-established computer science, economic and mathematical principles. We've done some very rigorous analysis on explanation of the fundamental concepts using these atomic principles. We're going to be publishing a lot of that very soon. We've developed a fairly robust initial mathematical framework for data economics that is very ripe for the research formalization publication. And that's what we aim to do in phase two, is formalize a lot of this, publish a lot of this, both in our internal channels on Lydion Insider and the Lydion, which you will hear about in a second, but also through peer-reviewed channels. And speaking of which, we've been working on sort of like an introductory, quote-unquote, textbook on data economics, Introduction to Data Economics, and we're going to be rolling out the first few chapters on Lydion Insider very soon, and we are hoping to have an initial complete version of Introduction to Data Economics ready by the end of the year, and we're going to be iterating on that, and we have a pretty interesting plan to propagate that in academic and industries channels. And then we've you know, and thanks to the talent that we have through Jennifer and Sertaj and others, and many of our partners, we've been able to present our research on the impact of data economics across several sectors at major conferences, already, and we are hoping to continue doing that, broadening the sectors and the targeted conferences that we are presenting at also, in addition to doing a lot of peer-reviewed publications over the next 3 years. And that brings me to one of the key things that we have been able to develop out of data economics, which is the Lydion data economic operating system. And we were able to develop the prototype for that as early as 2018 and enhance that over 2019 to implement the fundamental data economic concepts and figure out how to apply it to real world challenges and opportunities. And that has enabled the development of this ecosystem of experts across all of these different sectors that Jennifer talked about, in addition to economics, computer science, math. It's enabled the implementation of all of these solutions, the initial propagation of all these solutions. It has also enabled us to improve upon our initial data economic framework. Like, obviously implementing something and actually working with something obviously shows you where the improvements can lie. And we've been able to build out what we are calling the Lydion DEOS version 0.2, which we've been working on for the past year and a half or so. And it's going to be ready for a showcase around Q2 of this year. And we have a stream of patent filings that's coming out of our core research, as well as the Lydion DEOS, which we are going to be, which we've already started filing, as well as is going to be a key focus over the next few years. In addition, we've, I think, done a pretty good job of validating our basic licensing models for the Lydion data economic operating system and how to work with partners both on the direct licensing models as well as flexible middleware and more advanced revenue models that we are testing out with our various solutions and partnerships right now. And we've been able to develop the Lydion publishing platform, which the version 1 is out there. It is powering Lydion Insider. We are very proud to unveil it. And this will be supporting a lot of the phase 2 solutions that we will be rolling out for our partners also. And to talk a little bit about what these solutions are and some of the highlights, Sataj, do you want to go through them real quick?
Yeah, sure. I'd be happy to. Let's get this. So there's a lot on this slide, and I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. But some of the key highlights from phase 1 for health sciences include our outcomes-based distributed contracting platform, as well as patents and published research. We really look to leverage those going forward as we aim to build multiple live deployments of that contracting platform and continue to develop innovative solutions that leverage that research and IP that we've been developing. In the industrial solution, our work in developing a traceability solution for lead acid batteries has evolved into an opportunity to create a lead traceability solution for the lead supply chain. And we hope to eventually expand into other metals as well. Additionally, as a part of phase 2, we seek to develop new data asset-backed financial instruments and other means to inject capital into this sector. Moving on to agriculture, climate, and sustainability. In agriculture, we spent phase 1 developing a platform to enable data economics-backed incentives, as well as goods traceability for the growth of sustainable farming practices, as well as measuring tree planting by smallholder farmers. As we kick off phase 2, we plan to complete deployments for these platforms and then continue to expand both in scope and in region and across regions. On the climate side, we've been working on a climate data and policy management solution, as well as a means to connect that to opportunities in climate finance. So as a part of phase 2, we plan to pilot that solution and then similarly expand it by both scope and, again, by region. And then last but not least, the finance, personal data, telecom. For phase 1, our finance solution has been focused on the development of our data assetization methodology, as well as the accounting treatment of data assets, with the goal of recognizing data assets as on-balance sheet assets when it makes sense to do so. We're really excited to expand the deployment of our assetization and data valuation solution in phase 2. And then as well, we continue to build upon our work in the technical accounting treatment for data. In regards to data economic derivatives, thus far, we've been taking a very academic approach to describe how you would securitize data assets. Really, as a part of phase 2, we look to put some of those ideas into action, starting with industrials that as I mentioned, and as well in the health sciences solution, where there are some very clear use cases for this. And then finally, in personal data and telecom, which are our most nascent solutions, we've begun to develop our platforms And then as we drive ahead into phase 2, we expect to roll out our first pilots and some of the DE-based interactive experiences powered by them. And so, I know we have a pretty exciting, we're all very excited about it, and there's a good rollout plan, and I'm going to hand it back to Jen.
Thanks so much. So with that, I will take us a bit into how we are engaging with our audiences and how we like to think about this, which is more than a marketing and a rollout plan, because really this is all about partnership and really exciting people and inspiring them to get into the science and the applications of data economics. So throughout 2021, our aim is to really engage thought leaders and to continue to cultivate the thought leader landscape in this space and to strengthen our credibility and support among decision makers, not only in business, but also in academia, in policy, and in civil society organizations that we're partnering with, so that we can really enable all of those people to turn into evangelists for us and to help spread the word about data economics and how the Lydion methodology works and how it can be applied. So one of the means to do this, and we spoke a bit about this platform, but part of our toolkit is a really robust technology-enabled publishing platform that we've built and brought under the data economics company umbrella. And so this publishing platform not only allows us to build and produce the Lydion Insider site, which all of you will be getting an invitation for if you haven't already. The Lydion, which is essentially our magazine that will be at lydion.com and be our primary public-facing outlet for all of our research and other relevant content for more of a general audience. And then this also enables all of our partner and solution-specific portals. So we can use the publishing platform to help our partners propagate what they're doing in data economics and what they're doing more broadly to reach pretty large audiences, and also to have all of the analytic and engagement tools that you would expect from a pretty sophisticated publishing platform. And as we go into phase 2, we're using not only the things emanating from our publishing platform, so that's the Lydion Insider and the Lydion, but as Arka mentioned, we're developing an academic textbook. So the first 3 or 4 chapters of this are available on Lydion Insider. And just to plug that, if you're in the academic and science space and you want to contribute to that, we really welcome your input and your thoughts, whether you'd like to contribute as a chapter writer or potentially an editor to that textbook. We do plan to roll that out with a curriculum that could be picked up by professors and teachers to help teach students the science of data economics towards the end of this year, going into next year. And then all of these implementation showcases. So these will be places where you can go and see all of the specific solutions implemented in the various sectors, along with some partner content. Now, in addition to all of that, what I would call more self-directed learning and things that you can read, we're also putting on events, and we have a series of ways to engage with all of you. So we have these virtual forum type meetings that we're putting on. We also are planning a series of sector-specific virtual sessions to delve more into what we're doing with all of our different partners. We have events for our Data Economic Research Alliance, hoping that maybe by the end of 2021, we'll be able to have meetings in person once again, so looking like an industry/academic conference. And then we participate in a lot of external industry and academic events. So as we mentioned, we present at conferences such as ISPOR, ASCO, ESMO. We've presented at some United Nations conferences, and so there are many more in the pipeline. And if we go on to the next slide, here you can see basically we've got a lot of touch points with all of you. So whether you're a current audience of ours on the live webinar today, or whether you're seeing this on a recording and you're wondering how you can get involved with us in the future, or how you can learn more about data economics, whether you want to go online and read stuff, we'll have that. Whether you want to attend events in the future, we'll have that for you. And please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you're seeking to get involved, because as we said, we have an aim overall to continue to grow the alliance and the partnerships, and we really see that as the model for how data economics will be continuously applied and put into practice. So with that, I think that we can wrap up. And I also think that we have a number of questions and answers that I want to be sure that we can, questions that I want to be sure we get a chance to answer before folks need to sign off today. So I'm going to hand this back to Sertaj and Arka. If you guys have any parting thoughts for our audience, and then we can get into the Q&A part.
I just want to thank everyone for your time and for your interest, and we really hope that you will reach out to us, because everyone on this live broadcast and everyone who's going to be seeing this as a recording, the goal for us to do this is to try and start these conversations and start these thoughts for you. So yeah, we really look forward to hearing from you, and thank you for your time again.